It's Power Hour LSU.
PHL, extra little bit of swag, an extra little bit of taste.
Yeah. Man, I'm headed to the field. Terror of the tiger, I'ma always keep it real. Everything gon' get devoured, it's the power. LSU with Carter, it's the power. LSU with Carter, man, I'm headed to the field. Terror of the tiger, I'ma always keep it real. Everything gon' get devoured, it's the power. LSU with Carter, it's the power. LSU with Carter.
LSU picks up another commitment. Give me all your love in the comments section for CJ Jimcoily. And if you don't like recruiting, don't worry. We're going to talk everything actual LSU football. Blake Ruffino will join us here in about 20 or so minutes. But we have got to show some love to the newest and one of the youngest LSU coaches on staff. And that, of course, is Jake Olson. So you're taking a look at Jimcoily's highlights in the background. And yes, this is going to sound somewhat weird, but he is a safety on 3. But you see him mostly playing corner for Lipscomb in Nashville. But the truth is, he's not going to be playing either one of these positions, as LSU feels he is a good fit for the star, which is otherwise known as the nickel corner position, which means he's going to be lined up over slot wide receivers when he's at LSU. Now, as we've learned over the past couple of years with LSU secondaries, pretty much every player outside of just a few has moved around positions. So obviously he doesn't necessarily need to be a nickel corner. He could also just be a traditional corner. He could also be a traditional safety. But this is a very nice job by LSU to bring in another DB. Obviously, DJ Pickett is going to be the headliner of this class, but really the guy that you compare him to is Jace Thomas, the other safety that is committed to LSU, because they have similar recruiting rankings. They have both upside in many ways. And look, after watching him a decent amount today, I like him. I really do. And I do believe Tennessee is an area that's always been kind of a interesting recruitment. They had a corner out of Nashville committed in Andre Evans, weren't able to hold on to him, but they have gotten good players out of Tennessee. Jacob Phillips being one of those, one that's currently on staff right now, and Jacoby Stevens. So I do like this pickup for LSU as they continue to move up the recruiting ranking hierarchy. So LSU firmly in the top 5 classes on the on-3 composite. Same thing is true for the 247 sports composite rankings. And look, I understand LSU is still in a spot where you would like to see them bring in another corner for this class. And there's probably some of you that are wondering, hey, can he also play some corner? Potentially, yes. But based on what I've heard up to this point, LSU does view him as a future star. And one thing that is interesting, and I don't like saying star because, you know, that word has a lot of different meanings. But star is, I'll just say nickel corner just to make sure we're all on the same page. I want to get to the end here. He does have on his tape, let me see if I can find them here. Okay. This is actually quite interesting, and it's not too abnormal when you see something like this. He has blocked a lot of field goals. I think I counted 5 field goals that he deflected and or blocked in this entire film. Let's see. There. Okay, here's one of them right here. So as a special teamer, this blocked field goal ended up being a touchdown the other way. That shows me some versatility. Now, trust me, a lot of high school tapes have their best athletes blocking kicks. It's not anything out of the ordinary, but he does it a lot. So that lets me know that he can also give you something on special teams right when he gets to LSU. So good stuff by Brian Kelly and the staff to bring him in. And look, I am tired of recruiting. We have been talking about it for so many months. We get to actually talk real football. but I do want to show you the recruiting rankings really quickly before we move on. Number 3, national class. Number 2 in the SEC. And, man, it just keeps getting better and better and better and better. And there's more top 100 recruits that they are in the mix for. And, look, I've had a few of you reach out to me about how much I love, and I really do mean it, love Kalik Lockett. He ends up picking Texas. So obviously that doesn't go our way. Would you like to see LSU bring in another bona fide wide receiver in this crop? Sure, because Derek Meadows is a little bit of a different type of receiver than the other elite 5 stars. Teron Francis, I think, is very underrated. But it would have been nice to see Kalik Lockett or potentially Jamie French, spelled Jaime, get the nod at LSU. But we'll see what he decides to do over the next couple of weeks, because there are multiple big-time recruiting commitments that are still out there for LSU. Now, I want to get into actual practice reports. We'll talk to Blake here in just a second, and we will go into everything that he has seen with boots on the ground. Obviously, Matthew Brune earlier this week really killed it as well. I also want to talk a little bit about some of the things that Joe Sloan talked about in his press conference, because it is rare you hear from the actual coordinators, and how a coordinator talks and how a coordinator thinks is normally different than that of the head coach. Now, we welcome in Blaine. We welcome in Epic Shorty. We'll welcome in Jared, Holden, George, Gino Bling's here. Blaine wants to talk about Caden Durham. So Caden Durham ended up being the number 1 rated offensive player in this class for me. And so far, camp has been camp for a true freshman for Caden Durham. I would temper my expectations just a little bit. Obviously, he's getting up to speed on everything. Yeah, of course, you're going to see some flashes out of an athlete of his caliber. But up to this point, LSU is really, really pushing John Emery right now. And he is getting a lot of reps. I mean, a lot. So John Emery, this was something that we've discussed, over the past couple of weeks. I truly do believe John Emery is ready to go, which is crazy to think about. Does that mean that they put him out there week 1 versus USC? Well, here's what I would say. If they truly do believe John Emery gives them the best chance to win this game in week 1, well, you saw it happen last year, where Logan Diggs quite wasn't ready for that season opener. They erred on the side of caution, and it did end up being costly, because I did feel in that situation we left some yards out on the field with our running backs. So I do believe if you feel John Emery gives you the best shot to win day 1, game 1 versus USC, you play him, even though you want to more than likely slowly work him into this next season. I do want to also talk about another CJ Daniels. His practices have gotten better. This was a guy who did early enroll at LSU. I say early enroll, but he was a transfer, and he was around during spring, and he had a fine spring. He did. But now he is starting to come into his own. I am very interested to see what LSU decides to do with his alignment. One thing that CJ Daniels does do for this team is he does give you a true X. And what's very interesting about playing the X, and look, the X, it could be anywhere on the field, but when you normally think the X wide receiver, you're thinking about the outside wide receiver, all right? As I have grown in my football knowledge, and as I have seen the game evolve, and as I watch more tape and do more film studies and study the Tennessee offense, which I've done over this past year, and study Petrino's and then the lanes and all of that, one thing that has grown on me is putting your best wide receiver in the slot. I love doing that. And one thing I pounded the table for last year before the season was putting Malik Neighbors in the slot. And what ended up being LSU's best play? Well, ended up being the slot fade. That was the biggest yard gainer for LSU last year. It was definitely their go-to touchdown play. And look, it wasn't just Malik in the slot fades. Everybody was running slot fades. BTJ, Kyron Lacy, so on and so on and so on. And the one thing CJ Daniels does is him and Chris Hilton are both true outside receivers. CJ Daniels probably a little bit more well-rounded, the bigger, thicker player. And obviously a guy like Chris Hilton, not as proven, but an overall faster player. This gets Kyron Lacy in the slot. And one thing you notice in college football, it might be the hashes. It might be a lot of different things, honestly. Quarterbacks in college aren't the absolute fondest of throwing over the middle, right? Throwing over the middle for quite a few QBs feels like it's the most dangerous. If you feel comfortable, though, with a receiver over the middle, a guy like Kyron Lacy, then put him in the slot a lot, even though Kyron has mostly been the outside receiver. But that was what made Kyron Lacy so valuable last year, is that he was able to play that outside, and we were able to put Malik Neighbors in the slot. Now, part of why I bring that up now is, with CJ Daniels is, do I like him? Yes, I do. I do think he is going to be a very, very solid player for LSU this next year. But I'm still really high on Xavier Thomas. We'll see what his health situation looks like going into this next year. I still firmly have him as that wide receiver 4. I have heard good things as far as Aaron Anderson in practice, even though I do think there is a world that he gets phased out of this rotation for a guy like Trades Green or someone along those lines, even though they don't play an apples-to-apples position. So I'm still really high on LSU's backup receivers. But at this point, especially with Xavier Thomas dealing with this hamstring issue, the concentrated targets will be focused in on Kyron Lacy, CJ Daniels, and Chris Hilton. All right. We'll see what Shelton Sampson does. We'll see as Kamarion Pimpton grows. Obviously, Mason Taylor is going to get his as well. I am really freaking excited to see this LSU offense go wheels freaking up. Okay, let's get a few more in. We say out of Tyler, AP flows in, and doing a special giveaway today. First $25 super chat. You get your choice of a Jacoby and Guillory rare 1-of-1 autograph card right here. This is one of the first autographs he's ever done. And this is actually my second favorite Charles Alexander autograph card. My favorite actually gave that one away as well. I have an autographed jersey. He sent me one. And bang. Charles Alexander autograph card with a gold pin. College Football Hall of Famer. Can't say enough good things about the former Cincinnati Bengal. Has there ever been any other LSU players that played for Cincinnati? I don't know. I don't think they've had anyone else. But we will happily give out a Charles Alexander autograph card if we get the 50 in Super Chats tonight. If we get the 50 in Super Chats tonight, we're giving this out to someone. It can be anyone. First $20 Super Chat gets a Jacoby and Guillory card in the mail. Tank Guillory is someone else we're going to talk about quite a bit tonight. Now, what I want to get into next is the LSU special teams. One low-key story is Ramos has been blasting them in practice. Now, if you follow Ramos on TikTok, you know he's got an absolute whale of a leg. Now, in game, I don't know how much that actually translates. I don't think anyone's ever going to have Cade York's leg, but Ramos has had some good practices here. He is entering year 3 as the full-time LSU kicker. The LSU specialist unit, the big 3, your deep snapper, actually it's a big 4, your deep snapper, your kicker, your punter, and your kickoff artist are old, okay? They're old. You're going into year 3 with all of them, outside of your punter, who is a year 6 guy coming in from Louisiana Tech. So you should feel really good about the LSU specialists going into next year. Or should you? I am of the belief that Ramos is definitely a pretty good SEC level kicker. But the one thing that you really need is a punter. Your punter has to be good this next year. Offensively, you're not going to be as good as you were last year. You're going to be punting the football just a little bit more. You're still going to be very good, but you're still going to punt the football. And also on top of that, your punt return is going to have to be really good. I would like Xavier Thomas to be the punt returner. He's by far the most accomplished punt returner on this team. I'm open to Chris Hilton doing it. I'm open to a lot of different people doing it, but Xavier Thomas is as good of a punt returner as you're going to see. He really is that good at it. So I'm very excited to see what the specialists will bring for LSU this next year. Ramos has had a really solid camp, though. The reason why that's relevant, okay, the reason why that is so relevant is because, well, LSU's got a new special teams coach. Slade Nagel is in. He's also coaching the tight ends. First year here at LSU. Obviously, he's got a lot of Louisiana ties. He was at Tulane. I think our special teams are going to be pretty good next year. I really do think so. And it's not necessarily that they will be better than they were last year. It's that they really don't have a choice. They've got to be able to play field position a lot better next year, and so on, and so on, and so on. Okay? Yeah, Skip's, I'm telling you, believe it or not, Skipper, our one of our old schoolers, he actually pumps my stuff on Instagram more than anything else. We'll get to this one really quickly before we get to our guest, my friend of yours, Mr. Blake Ruffino. I don't feel as good about this USC game as I did before, says Brian. I don't know if we could stop their offense, and I don't know if we have truly improved in the LSU interior run game. Well, that's good news because we're actually going to talk to someone who actually played on the interior run game at the college football level. He's coming up right after this. Let's go.
Home is where the heart is, and our friends at NOPOD Roofing really takes that to heart. 504-810-8744. Give them a call today for all of your roofing needs. And one of my favorite things about NOPOD Roofing is their versatility. They not only do roofing, they do siding, they do painting, they do tree removal, fencing, anything home improvement. Our friends at NOPOD will get you straight. Give them a call today at 504-810-8744 and let them know PHL and Carter the Power sent you. We never overpromise and always over-deliver with NOPOD, baby. Let's go.
I think joy and happiness and doing things you like is important.
My favorite thing is sports cards. When I'm not on YouTube, I am building my collection. And when I started, I wish there was a sports card strategy show.
He wasn't necessarily going to be a first-round pick before all this Heisman buzz. Now they're talking about him being a top 5 pick.
Paul Hickey and the team at nooffseason.com personally helped build my Jaden Daniels collection, and they're looking to do the same for you. Just check them out on social media or nooffseason.com.
All right, y'all better show some love in the chat. My friend and yours, I'm on his show every single Monday night. Part of the AYS network. Very proud to be just that. His name is Blake Ruffino. What's up, Blake?
Good evening, good sir. How are you?
I'm warmed up. I'm feeling great about life, and I want to first get your thoughts on the interior run game. Let's go to Brian's question. Brian, big supporter of viewers, bigger supporter of mine. I don't know if we truly improved in the interior run game. What would you say about that?
We haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't. I mean, I just don't think that we have. And, I mean, Carter, at what point are they going to have to show you that they have? You know, like, I mean, There's nothing that they've done in camp. There's nothing that they did in spring. I know that JVR Suggs is a little bit better than maybe who you had in spring.
Right.
But I don't know if he's an SEC defensive lineman
He is not the biggest guy, to say the least.
at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's got athleticism. I mean, you see that on his college. Like, I mean, I watched him make an open field tackle on a wide receiver on a reverse. It was incredible. But, you know, he's just not really that big. And you don't have to trust me, I was a small defensive tackle too, but I am worried about that.
You should be.
Quite a bit.
Yeah,
But,
you should be. I was just going to say, like, how good is your all, Carter, let me tell you this. I'm kind of getting tired of, well, how good's our O-line then? It doesn't matter. Right? Like, does it matter?
No, I mean, I will say that I think Brian was asking about the interior of LSU's offensive line running the football.
Oh, I thought he meant.
Yeah, I thought he meant the other way at first, but yeah, I, to be honest, Brian, I am semi concerned about that. What say you?
The interior of the offensive line?
Yeah, like, can we run inside zone 5 yards at a time at will versus USC?
When did they have games that they didn't outside of Florida State a year ago?
A&M.
Yeah.
They can't get an interior run game going. But the reason why last year is such a bad sample is Jaden just got so good. Like, any handoff you were doing was a win for the defense. So Denbrock was like, why am I calling any runs? You know?
I think that they were fine, though, if I'm being honest. I'm not as concerned as you are, I don't think. Frazier's been fine. I mean, Deli's been fine. I mean, what does it do when you bring 2 seniors back?
That's what I'm in Chester's more athletic than so in theory you could get more movement.
Right.
Let me ask you this. The quality of DJ Chester's snapping has been what?
Perfect.
Good.
Yeah, perfect. I hadn't seen him have a bad snap all camp.
Well,
I mean, I'm sure he has.
Right.
I mean, when you snap the ball 1,500 times, your hands get sweaty. I mean, I'm sure he's probably had one. It wouldn't surprise me if he's had none either.
My next thing, and
it's not like when you ran Dellinger out there and try to put him at center.
I will never forget that. Like, as much as that season opening Florida State game loss was on so many different things, there were so many bad snaps in that game that was just like, just snap it. That's all you got to do. Just get it to your QB.
I hate lefties snapping the ball.
It is kind of weird. Huh?
I know a guy that does everything left-handed, and would snap the football with his right hand.
Okay. Are you a dead ball snapper?
No. I don't mind it. I don't mind it because you're talking for everybody that damn, I need to get a football.
I got one right here. So dead ball snap.
All right, put your index finger on the laces.
Oh yeah,
middle finger on the laces.
Oh, it's middle. Okay.
That's how you dead ball snap.
So it's
in between the legs, pointed up, dead ball snap.
There you go.
Yep.
And then regular snap is just.
It depends. It depends. I've seen guys go put the laces under. I've seen guys put laces on the sides. I personally would put laces on the sides. Right. I don't like. I kind of get a little bit of a throw.
Right.
You know. What was the question again? Dead ball snap. I've seen a lot of people be effective at it. It's actually more because when you receive the ball, the laces are going to be down. So when a quarterback normally catches it, it doesn't take him as long to get to the laces. Okay, because if the ball's like upside down, regardless of what hand you are, versus when I snap it from a just normal snap, he's going to have to fiddle with the laces, and it's just one less thing that he's got to figure out. So if you can dead ball snap, it's actually pretty effective. The problem is that nobody likes it, and because it can get slow. But if you need to do it, it's an effective tool. If you can you know who else dead ball snaps? He'll never admit this. You know who else dead ball snaps? Jason Kelsey. But he moves the laces. He does a quarter turn. He turns it.
Oh, so he does a flick of the wrist.
Yeah, he literally just and then gets his hands back up. That's what makes him the best center I've ever seen. He's the best center I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Well, no, actually, no.
He's the most athletic, is what you're going to say.
Brett Helms is the best center of all time.
Brett Helms can't wear Jason Kelsey's
Ben Wilkerson. Ben Wilkerson.
Billy Wilkerson's not a better center than
Elliot Porter. PJ Long.
All right, if we're just going to throw out random names, Ethan Posick.
Ethan Posick. Well, actually, yeah.
Lloyd Cushenberry.
Would you take Ethan Posick over Lloyd Cushenberry?
No.
Ooh, that's tough.
Not even remotely in the same stratosphere for me.
Oh, come on now, Blake.
No, at center?
Yeah, Posick was good.
There's a reason why Lloyd Cushenberry just got paid what he got paid and Ethan Posick didn't get paid what he wanted to get paid.
Yeah, but I'm just talking
okay.
LSU careers. It would have.
I would go with the second best center to ever grace LSU's presence. That is Lloyd Cushenberry.
And then who would be your number one?
Ben Wilkerson.
Ben Wilkerson. Okay.
T-Bob Aber.
Hey, look, friend. But let me. So you've been to camp almost every day.
Every day, actually.
So you've been able to make it. What is one thing that has stuck out to you that shocked you going into camp?
Ashton Stamps.
Okay.
Yeah, Ashton Stamps. He was my week 1 player of the week. I'm going to do these 3 weeks, Carter, and come out with a player of the week.
Okay.
Ashton Stamps for me, I think, because not mainly because Carter DB was so bad, corner was so bad last year, and you weren't making plays on the football. I mean, like I can't believe I got to say that. That's actually just a big improvement. I mean, like the video I posted of the Kyron Lacey Ashton Stamps rep. I don't know what you want Ashton Stamps to do on that fade route. Like I really don't. Carter, you tell me, what was he supposed to do that he didn't?
I am literally blown away how good he is just in camp. Now we'll see how it actually goes.
Yeah, can he translate that to the field? Is a big deal.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I would warn against, because he has legitimately been good, not just you saying that. Our guest Matthew Brune earlier this week said that's been the same thing. It is so different though when you're used to just going up against the same receivers, over and over and over again. You're doing the same drills over and over. And the one thing about corner in particular is there are just so many different things that are thrown your way during the course of a football game. And I know that's every position, quarterback or whatever, but I am very interested to see how he is going to
goes up against Zachariah Branch.
Right. And our guy BT is a Lemon, Mekhi Lemon, a really nice player for USC as well. I'm going to be interested to see how it works out with him being the number 1 corner. One thing that's been interesting to me is Zy Alexander. I know they've been working him in slowly, but how do you think?
Slower.
Right.
Not fully ready. Probably about 75% maybe, but he's made a couple plays. I I'm more shocked that him and John Emery are out there running around. It's baffling to me.
Yeah, it does blow me away. I'm lucky to have known a lot of people in the sports medicine industry, and to have two different ones happen later in the season. I mean, this wasn't first play versus Florida State like what happened to speaking of great offensive lineman, Will Blackwell in North Carolina. These things happen later in the year, right? Week 8 and week 11 or whatever it was. So, yeah, I guess they would both be available for USC week 1. It just depends how much they want to play them.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. You know, like I mean, I don't know how they could be practicing this much and not play.
Yeah, and one thing that's going on,
cleared to practice, they're going to be cleared to play.
Right. And I think, and you brought this up, and it was a good point. I don't know if it was on my show or yours. You know, not having Logan Diggs versus Florida State was huge last year.
Yeah, and that's why I don't, you know, like I don't know if you couldn't run in the interior last year. I don't know that.
Right.
A&M's A&M. It's Jane Daniels' last game. You're out of the playoff. I don't know about that. What I do know is that you didn't, you know, you were overwhelmed against Florida State, and then defense. I mean, so many other bad things happened.
And
by the way, Braden Fisk was a first-round pick, and the other kid went in the 3rd round. And then Jared Verse went, 15?
Yeah, so, yeah, Fisk and Verse were like first couple rounds, and I think Lovett went undrafted.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, but Fabian Lovett's one of the best defensive tackles I've ever seen play LSU. Or I'll put it this way. He played his 2 best games versus
against LSU, right.
The one guy that I think could play a lot more, because you know we're spending so much time on Woodland. The other true freshman corner, is Juwan Johnson, right?
I mean, if you're talking about season as a whole, yes. If you're talking about USC, probably not.
Probably not. But they're trying to make.
Here's some trivia for you. Name the last true freshman outside of Derek Stingley that started at safety.
Or
DB, excuse me.
I think I could get this. Is Jalen Mills?
No.
Or Grant Delpit.
Grant Delpit. And think about this. That's been since 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Juwan Johnson can play. I see. Here's my problem with Juwan Johnson. I don't know if he can tackle. Okay, because we've seen him cover. We haven't seen him tackle yet. Right? Like we hadn't seen that part. I know he's athletic to make plays. I don't know if he's athletic enough to or willing to make tackles. I think that we are going to find that out on Saturday. Don't sleep on Major Burns, though. Everybody looks at the coverage and is like, oh, he's on Aaron Anderson. It's a mismatch if he's on Aaron Anderson. It's a mismatch. You're not. I mean, if Blake Baker's calling for him to be on Aaron Anderson, it's a mismatch. He's not supposed to win that rep.
I think he was saying day one from the start. I think that's what you're saying. But yeah, Eli Ricks was the last one.
Oh, well, yeah, day one.
But I think you were saying day one.
Yeah, Eli, if you remember, Eli didn't start that game, remember?
Yeah, Mississippi State, but
Mississippi State, but he wound up getting the pick to almost win it. Yeah.
I am very concerned about the coverage aspect for Major Burns in that role, but you seem to be a little bit more bullish. You're seem to be
especially in the run game. Carter, he led your team in tackles last year. I don't think he's got a tackling problem. I think he's got a coverage problem. I think he's a linebacker in a safety's body.
So you feel this could be a thing where he starts day one and shots.
You
Yeah,
mean
you have to go start day one, but I'm talking about you feel comfortable him being a starter and a leader.
Oh, I didn't say all that now.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't say all that. I mean, in the running game, yeah, he's done very well. He's made plays. I mean, when he's not making the tackle, he's forcing things inside. I mean, even if he's like got an arm tackle breaking away, he's still like recovering and making the tackle. I'm not worried about him in the running game. I'm worried about him in coverage. I'm worried about him knowing the defense. I do think Juwan Johnson, God, he's just a player. The kid can play.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
He's really good. And I don't know if he's a willing tackler. I don't know, Carter, if he's going to blow assignments. I don't know any of that. What I do know is what we've seen from the kid is that he can flat out cover. Now, what does that do? But Carter, I mean, day one, he was your second string star player.
Exactly.
The guy's going to be, so I mean, we'll see.
Sad and Ola Grizz, two favorite LSU sports commentators. And he is
thank you, Nola Grizz.
Showing some love, man. He actually sent me something pretty sacred today.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Okay, take a look at this. I got to find a way to give this out. Send me a Jamar Chase autograph. Look at that.
Oh, you don't give that out, Carter.
Blake, I'm lucky to have a great LSU collection. I think Nola Grizz would want me to give it out. Got to spread the love, man.
Do you already have one?
No, I don't. But
Carter Bryant, you hang that son of a bitch up right behind that picture that you have.
Well, Nola Grizz knows my heart, man. I give a good bit of my stuff out. I'm very lucky to have.
All right, send it to this address. You ready? I know exactly where you can send it.
Don't dox yourself, because I don't want a lot of people knocking on.
Oh, I'm going to campaign for myself to get cool stuff.
I don't want Megan to be mad at me saying, "What Carter got people knocking on her door." It's a very clean auto too. He doesn't sign like that as much anymore. His signature has changed.
Again, I know an address where you can send this.
No, I'll hold on to it for a while. But yeah, man, I had so I got that one, and the guy that sent us our hats, Tyler
Townsend.
Yeah, he sent me Morris Claiborne autographed jersey, but it was a Cowboys jersey.
So,
dude, it's gross. Let's go to Kevin. Beers and Jordan, the starting safeties by week 3.
I tell you what, man, people better stop sleeping on Jordan Allen.
Dude, he's solid. He's solid.
People better stop sleeping on Jordan Allen. Jordan Allen's got something to say about it. Carter, they scored 1 touchdown. I got it told to me by staff that was at the team period yesterday. They only let up 1 touchdown. That was a blown coverage. Only 1. They think Jordan Allen can play. They think that they are so. Let me tell you, this defensive staff is so excited that nobody is talking about him.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is one low-key story from last year was he played a lot more than people would think.
Realize, yeah
he played a decent amount towards the end of the season. So it's not just like totally.
And you know what? You didn't really say anything about him.
No, he didn't. He didn't screw anything up. Yeah. So yeah, I think if we were to lay out the starting secondary versus USC, who would the 5 guys be? It would definitely be Major.
I'd say let's go from left to right. I'd say Ashton Stamps, your far left corner, Jordan Gilbert at 1 safety, Jordan Allen at the other. At nickel or star, you will have Major Burns. When you go to a true nickel, I think it's going to be what they call prowler. The prowler look. They're going to go with the kid from Oklahoma. The Ohio State, Jair Brown.
Okay.
And then I think at your other corner, it's going to be Sage Ryan.
The Sage experiment.
Yeah, well, let me tell you why.
Okay.
If they were going to change up and give guys first team looks, they would have done it in week 1. Right? Like they would have started figuring some shit out week 1 of what they wanted their rotation to look like. I remind people Jordan Allen caught 2 picks off of us in day 2, and 1 on 7-on-7 and 1 in team period.
Jared, thank you for the super. Joseph comes in. What was this worthy of a pause? Allen looked good last year.
Yeah, I could see it being worthy of a pause.
I don't know. That was.
I mean, it would be an extreme pause.
Yeah, it's teetering on just pushing too much.
Yeah, pushing the limit.
Yeah, like I don't know. A pause needs to really be a pause.
Right.
We oversaturated the pause.
I thought about this last night. So somehow in the show, this is what happened. I'll tell you. Because Harold Perkins had himself a day yesterday. Okay. And in 3rd down, 7-on-7 period, Harold Perkins had a tackle, a pass breakup, and then a contested catch on Mason Taylor along the sidelines they did not get the first down. 3 straight plays by Harold Perkins. And I started singing, if I'm Blake Baker, I'm driving down the road saying, yes, sir. Like I'm Pretty Ricky. Yes, sir. I got new shoes on my ride. By the way, did you know that Pretty Ricky had a song named Pause? Which made me think of when you.
Like Pretty Ricky.
Ricky.
All right, let's go.
But yeah, I think Jordan Allen has looked good. Not to the point that Deshaun Spears would beat him out at the current moment. No,
I don't think so either. I wouldn't be against it per se, but
I would be against it. Week 1, week 3, I'd be against it.
So you're saying
because I don't think that you can put Deshaun Spears at a strong safety. I think you got to put him at free, and you got to put him in the middle of the third of the field. So if you're going to take Allen out and have 2 free safeties out there, you have a problem.
I would feel a lot more comfortable with Allen versus the run. Definitely.
You can't, if you're going to take out Spears, you got to take out Gilbert, and they're not going to do that right now.
Yeah. Jordan Gilbert's interesting to me because true freshman at Texas A&M played a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And as time progressed, last year he had the shoulder injury and was just out for the rest of the year. He's obviously got talent. He's practicing on a field that's 10 yards away from where he practiced, in high school and played. I find him interesting. I think he's a solid player. But there are some concerns from some of my A&M buddies that are like, hey, it could get rocky back there for him. So I'm interested.
Well, he was also the starting safety for a unit in Texas A&M that had the number 1 pass defense in the country in 2022. Just to remind people, they say, okay, it's going to get rocky. Where did it get rocky? Because you can't have the number 1 and look at this up, Carter. In 2022, they were number 1 in passing yards allowed. Okay? Their secondary was actually pretty freaking good. Nobody wanted to talk about it. He was a starting safety in that. So show me. I think what A&M fans have done there is they've looked at him and said, okay, because it looked rocky against Miami when he was already hurt. He has 2 surgeries on his shoulder. They make him go out there because they need him to, and he shouldn't be out there. He was already hurt in the game. Oh, it's going to get rocky back there. Okay, well, show me where it got rocky. It wasn't his fault, Carter, that they went 5-7.
Yeah.
Think about this. Think about how bad that you got to be in other places offensively for you to have the number one secondary in the country and for you to say that Jordan Gilbert wasn't good. Do you understand how dumb you sound? That's why you don't win national championships, because you don't know what the frick you're talking about. No, Carter, go look it up. They were number one in passing yards allowed in 22.
Yeah, I think some would
Sorry,
say
I lost my mind on that. I'm sorry.
no. You should look. I really wanted Jordan Gilbert when he came out of high school, and I am glad that he came back home. It is interesting, like all of A&M safeties were recruiting battles versus us, Matthews and Anderson as well.
Which Matthews is in Baton Rouge right now, just at a different school.
Wait, where'd he go?
I don't know. I heard, maybe he's right down the road at LSU, from LSU. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
No, dude, you can't open that up.
I would expect him to commit somewhere in the SEC in December.
So he's not gonna play this year at all?
Oh, he's gonna do some things, just not in the Power 5 level.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I would bring up is but before I get to the offensive side of things, I do want to shout out. I wanted to get your opinion on this.
Oh no,
CJ Jimcoily. Okay,
I was so wrong on his weight. He sent me. I was like, how much are you? He told me 210. I said 180 the whole time. Kid is 210.
Yeah, he's a thick player. One thing I really liked about him, and I've never seen a recruit do this. So, like they normally just get Hayes Fawcett to do the graphic.
Mm-hmm.
Got like every single recruiting person to do a graphic for him. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
He's got we got Leighton Roberts, Boot Crew Media, visuals by RB, Spiegelman.
Kid is fantastic.
Top G Jimmy.
Kid is look, man, the kid is amazing. They love him. Lil Birdie told me that his dad played for Frank.
Good. Yeah, I learned of his New Orleans heritage. So really freaking excited.
I heard when they had him in here on a visit, they put him on a whiteboard to see if like his book smarts or like football smarts, and they're blown away by him.
Let's go, CJ.
Let's see if this kid's got the talent to do it. He's I think that he comes in here and plays that star role.
Yeah, that's what I've been told as well. So offensively, there was a question earlier by Caden Durham, and I would pause a little bit on him being a day one guy. Blake, when I put my high school grades in, I leave him as is. But he did end up my number one offensive rated player. He did get the coveted year one grade that I normally rarely ever give out.
Well, you can't get off of that because of a couple of practices as a freshman.
Exactly. So I'm sticking with it. I still believe in the talent, but we should slow down just a little bit. Him just flying out the gate.
Yeah, he's been flustered the first couple of days. He kind of got flustered. So I think that all of these really talented freshmen were warned. They know that they got a talent. Carter, they got a really talented freshman class, man. They hit on some players. They got some guys that can play here. But I don't. Look, I think that you're going to get a steady dose of the trio, at least very early on, of Josh Williams, Caleb Jackson, and John Emery. And I think if Caden Durham can find his way to get in that rotation somehow, they'll play him. But he has not taken that role yet. He has not taken that over. It's not like Carter. He's not getting first team reps. Not like that. Not when it matters. No, he's not.
I'm still holding out hope that you just get the football in his hands and let things
I
happen.
mean, but what are we asking from him?
For me, I just want to see him get a touch. That's it.
Oh, he's going to get a touch during the season.
Yeah,
He's going to get touches during the season. But
I don't want this to be, oh, well, let's just think about redshirting him or not really using him. I
don't think that they're going to do that. I don't know if they'll do that. But, Carter, you have 2 seniors and an explosive sophomore.
This guy's a lush. They say you're a drunk. Aaron, are you? What's wrong? What's wrong with getting a little tipsy, man? What's wrong with the drink?
See, what happens is that, by the way, I haven't had a drink in 6 months. Not whiskey. I had it once a while back. But people hate me, man, for whatever reason. I turned down a media request. I never do that. I turned down one, and bots have been everywhere. Have you ever seen that guy before?
Yeah, I've been bought it before.
No, I mean, have you seen this guy before?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen Swash.
Mm-hmm.
I also think people slightly underrate how good Josh Williams is. Like, I still am a huge believer in the Swiss Army knife of this backfield, who isn't spectacular at any one thing, but he's pretty good at everything, if that makes sense. So let's go, Josh. I'm still in on the Josh.
He said that I'm dropping down to take a swig. I chew tobacco, dumbass.
Or you're dip and dip.
Yeah.
Wait, what flavor?
Mint.
Can you pop?
Coffee.
Can you pop? Once you pop.
But you don't have to because these are pouches.
Oh, so it's like
I don't do that loose shit no more, Pauls.
oh, it's a pouch. So it's like a little.
Yeah, it's like a little pouch.
Mm. Oh, and you just sit a bag.
Yeah.
And what does it do? Does it dissolve?
This sits. See, you didn't even know earlier.
But I knew about the actual like fiberglass that goes into the lip, but I didn't know.
There's no more fiberglass in there.
Oh God, that is just.
All right. Let's get off the dip. I need to quit. What DBs have stood out? Ashton Stamps, Jordan Allen.
Let me ask you. The wide receiver rotation, it just seems like there is a separation of 3 of them.
No doubt.
And
they were. Somebody asked a question to BK the other day. Oh, you're trying to get a lot of them in, and BK was like, "Stop."
No.
Yeah. It's gonna be Chris Hill and CJ Daniels and Kyron Lacey, and then Aaron Anderson and Xavier Thomas are going to rotate in there, and then they're going to use probably Jelani to see like in a gimmick play type situation, and that's going to be your lineup right now.
So for the Shelton Sampson believers,
had a massive day one. Haven't really seen him since. Now, I don't know if that's because, he was doing some things. Maybe he's recovering from a concussion, because he hit his head and he's just out for the week. But had a massive day one and hasn't returned. Really, not to the production level.
If something happens to one of the guards,
love this question. Emory goes down to guard. I put Tyree Adams at whatever tackle. You want to talk about someone who's had a camp on them, buddy? That's been Tyree Adams. Tyree Adams looks good, dude.
Yeah, he's a pretty good football player.
Yeah, he's going to be a really good football player.
I really do like him a lot. And
he's set behind Will. He's learned from Will. Now, here's the question. He hadn't really gotten any premier pass rusher to go against him either.
Yeah. But here's why I like Tyree Adams and why he should excite you is that there was no path forward for him last year because Lane's
no path forward for him this year.
Right. But now there is a glimmer of hope because of this question. If someone were to go out, he's got a pretty high likelihood of being the first guy in.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised, and I'm not surprised that they haven't tinkered with him with the first team. But
just to give him some reps.
Yeah, get him some reps. Like take Emery, put Emery down at guard. Let him be at right tackle, see what he can do for you. I think Weston Davis is athletic, but I don't think he's ready for the moment, nor should he really be. So I think Tyree Adams would be the situation. And if either one of the tackles goes down, he's coming in.
Right. Who would you say right now is a backup center? Is it Cohen Eccles at this point?
Cohen Eccles or Kyrie Lee or Car Lee.
Very interesting. A true freshman backup center.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I did. That always gives me the heebie-jeebies. Even though last year your backup center eventually ended up being a true freshman, that does give me heebie-jeebies. So it's a hard position to say the least. But Gary Nussmeier, obviously there have been turnovers. There have been some miscues. And look, it's not uncommon that Garrett has, practices that go really well. And then there's some that can go haywire. We saw it during spring where he had practices where he was throwing picks. Concern?
I don't think concerned is the right word. I don't know if there is a word to give my full emotion. I'm not worried about Garrett, in the sense of that I think that we've seen him go in games and throw the ball all over the place. What I am worried about, Carter, is bad decision-making in critical moments.
Right.
And I think that you have seen him make good decisions in critical moments already. And I think you've seen him make very costly decisions in critical moments. At that position, when you're throwing the ball the way that LSU will, you can't have those critical moments like that. If you're going to throw a pick, throw it early in the game. You can't throw it into double coverage. Carter, they march down the field and he throws a pick to Ashton Sampson in the end zone. And the play before he almost threw a pick. Right? You're getting in the red zone, he almost throws 2 picks. And then in the first team period the other day, you get back to the red zone and he throws another pick to Jordan Allen. What am I supposed to make of that? You tell me. Look, if you think I'm lying, it's fine. But everybody else is there and has the same occasion. That's why we're LSU is posting it on social media. Ashton Stamps is posting it on social media. When I come out here and say this, what do you think what do I take from that? If everybody knows football more than I do, you put in the comments what you think I'm supposed to take from it. Because I say that I think that he's made some bad decisions. Oh, you good son of a gun. Carter,
Jared,
what do you make of it?
Jared says, so the defense is really good.
Or he's making very bad. He's late, Carter. That throw to Stamps was late.
Yeah, the red zone is what concerns me. The game speeds up in the red zone for him. I feel the touch on his passes in the red zone. We've seen jump ball interceptions that he's thrown, not only in the red zone, but the extended red zone where everything just is very, very, very compressed. It's a thing. No, it's a thing. Now, is it something that will affect LSU this year? Yeah, if he makes those mistakes, but probably not as much as we would like to think. I still think he's going to be very good, but it's
and everybody has given him the benefit of the doubt that he won't do it in a game. Oh, he's just trying to get away with that at practice. Okay, do you know that? Have you seen him in a 13-game schedule?
Yeah, I do think there are going to be some games where you'll have a here's my thing. I think you're going to see a few Garrett Nussmeier games where it's going to be of this 365.
I fully agree.
3 touchdown, 2 interception, kind of sort of track meet, right? Kind of like
they're throwing the ball all over the place.
yes.
I agree. You mean Wisconsin?
Yes. And I do think LSU will there's a big debate on how much more ground and pound will LSU do. I still think throw rate's going to be pretty high for LSU.
Sloan confirmed that. He said, whatever we got to do to win is what we're going to do. I'm not like and that man will abandon ship, letting Nuss throw the ball all over the place if he needs to.
I do want to actually slightly switch gears. All right.
Okay. All right.
Just really quickly, and we'll get back in the LSU stuff. Your thoughts on Jaden Daniels
tearing up camp?
Yeah. So today he had a semi-rough day, but it was raining and he was playing the Jets in practice.
Oh, I saw him. They posted he had thrown like 3 touchdowns.
Oh, well, someone right before one of our big time viewers sent me something saying that he had like 25 yards in like a scrimmage. I could be totally wrong on that.
He threw it. Hold on.
I did 4 fantasy drafts today on Underdog, and I drafted him in all of the leagues.
No, he threw like 3 touchdowns.
Okay, so
yeah, hold on. I'm about to find out.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, what are you talking about? He threw 3 touchdowns.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with you.
No gloves, no problem. He threw a fade route. This looks like what's the whoever number 2 is who he throws it to.
Oh, that's Dynamic Brown.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So I saw that throw. It was like on the deep corner or whatever. But yeah,
I'm not worried about Jaden.
Man, I think he is going to freaking crush. I really do believe it. And I have a lot of money invested in his fantasy stocks because he's still cheap because no one wants to put their money into
he's going to be running for his godforsaken life.
So LGZ is right. The O-line is probably the worst in the league. They're
right.
bad.
Mm-hmm.
But their defense is also going to be bad. And I think Jaden's going to be name a quarterback that's better suited for this scenario, a bad defense, track meet kind of setup. It is interesting. And I understand college and pro are just so different. But this was going to be my most flaming hot, biased LSU take. I used to live in D.C., know a lot of D.C. media members and all that stuff. It would not shock me if LSU's offensive line is better than Washington's offensive line.
Oh, stop.
Dude, it can't be that far off, man. You're telling me,
you saw Sadiq Charles just up and quit?
Quit.
Look, what do we know about Jaden? If he doesn't think he can make the throw, he's going to run.
Right. And running equals fantasy production.
And there's not a lot of humans that can catch him.
Yeah, I think people are underrating how fast he is. I'm serious, because I think he's gonna eat this year.
I'm all right with Jaden. He'll be all right.
Your thoughts on the Saints?
Unfortunately, I'm not keeping up with any of it. To be honest with you, I saw that they brought in what's the safety? Justin.
Justin Simmons, good player.
Justin Simmons. I'm at where I'm at with this Saints team, bro.
You're at where you're at.
Yeah, I'm not. Derek Carr pisses me off.
Why? What he didn't do anything to you?
He sucks. You spent so much money to go get him. He stinks.
Derek Carr does not deserve the slander.
Carter, he stinks.
No, yeah. I think the Saints talk about a weird offensive line situation.
And that's another thing. I got in an argument with Saints legacy media. Okay, they were like, "No, Ryan Ramczyk. They feel good. He's coming back at right tackle. They drafted a right tackle.
Yeah, and I would not have drafted him. I would not. That wouldn't.
Who would
that
you
wouldn't-
have taken?
Mims. It went to the Bengals. Amarius Mims is one of the best offensive tackles I've ever
Have
seen.
you seen him at Bengals camp?
Dude, he is destroying people. He is snatching souls. He is one of the best.
They're trying everything they can to protect Burrow, man.
He is one of the best football players I've ever seen.
Right.
It's just health, and he's a little crazy. Saban said that thing about him on draft night, whatever. But when it's on, like he's on. Like I did my own draft board. He was my number 5 player, and I was like, dude, Saints, please just do it. But he wasn't as safe as Fuaga, right? Fuaga, team captain, leader, played a lot more games. He doesn't get hurt. But
I mean, Mims got hurt in one game?
Yeah, but Alabama, no, he's missed a lot. He's missed a lot. But he's elite. He is elite. Let's go to Nola Grizz.
I think the Saints are going to.
Oh, the Rattler.
Oh, I mean, you could.
I mean, do you think Fitz Rattler can play?
No.
No.
Come on, man.
You're not buying into Spencer Rattler and the Bub Means hype train?
No.
Bub Means. They did.
I am what I am with the Saints. There's a reason I stopped talking about them on my show. Until they start getting serious, until they start acting serious, then we'll start talking about them.
I can't. I didn't. It's painful. I don't. If the biggest thing you have to sell me on is,
and I'm not an NFL guy like talking about it. I don't like it like that. I just like to have fun and watch.
Let's go to Herb Pease Lip Brennan. You don't have money for tickets. I'll give you some tickets, Blake.
No, read the caption again. I'll read the name again.
Herb Pease Lip Brennan? I don't even know.
Trolls out tonight, man.
Let's see. I'll just say it's not Carr's fault that we gave him $100 million.
That's true.
That's true. I'm with you on that. I look at the SEC as a whole, and and it could just be that Volunteer Nation has become a part of my family. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm talking myself into some Tennessee buzz here. Just a little.
I will say their front seven could be nasty.
Yeah.
I question what they're going to do with the entire O line. Where are they at? Tennessee, Chattanooga, NC State, Kent State. That Oklahoma game's massive. At Oklahoma, at Arkansas, Florida, Alabama, Kentucky. Or off week, then Kentucky, Mississippi State, at Georgia. I mean, Carter, they can go 10-2, 11-1, or they can lose to all three big names here.
Yeah. So let's say they. If they beat Oklahoma but lose to Alabama and Georgia, are they in?
Say that again.
Let's say they beat Oklahoma to start 4-0, but they lose to Alabama and Georgia.
No, I don't know if they'd be in. Well, I don't know. 10-2.
That's what I'm saying, but no real marquee wins.
I guess it just depends. Right. I guess it just depends on what Georgia and Alabama have done.
Right. God, dude,
I feel better for them in that Alabama game than I do at Oklahoma, to be honest with you.
I could see that too. New DC at Bama. Kane Wilmer.
And that game's at home. They're a lot like us, man. Hey, Saban's gone. We can win now.
This is an interesting point, though, by Jared. Florida has always had Tennessee's number.
Beat them last year. That
was one of my heaviest plays, too.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think Tennessee might want revenge in that one. I think Billy Napier's cooked, bud.
And I keep going back to this with LSU schedule. All right. Let me ask you this. This will be the most interesting question you'll be asked by a YouTuber. All right, okay. You ready? I'll put LSU schedule up. How many interim coaches will LSU play this year?
Or could they play?
Yeah. Or yes.
I think it's too early in the season that Beamer would be fired. So let's go Arkansas,
okay.
Florida.
Okay. And Vanderbilt.
I don't.
LSU could get 3 interims this year, man. I would have to guess at least one. They're getting at least one, maximum 3 interims this year.
I think the one's going to be Arkansas.
So, taking a look at Arkansas' schedule really quickly on the Matrix.
Dude, they're so bad on defense at linebacker. UAPB at Oklahoma. I think they're losing at Oklahoma State. I think they're losing at Auburn. I think they're losing to A&M, Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss. I think they're losing. Texas, they're losing. At Missouri, they're losing.
So, let's just
think?
Well, I'll say this. Let's just say Arkansas starts. If they start 2-4 going into the bye week, if they're 2-4 going into the bye week,
you can have an interim coach when you come into town.
And the interim, firing an interim coach during the bye week or firing a coach during the bye week makes a lot of sense, right? Especially since you have 2 bye weeks this year. So they could see what they have with Travis Williams. They could see what the Bobby Petrino as a head coach could look like. So you have that game. Do you believe Billy Napier will be on the sideline for LSU versus Florida later this year?
Let's see. Florida, I think they're losing to Miami. Oh, I don't know if they can beat A&M. But that game is at home.
Yeah.
Let's just say they beat A&M for argument's sake. They beat Mississippi State. They're off. I think they beat UCF. I think they lose to Tennessee. I think they beat Kentucky, ironically. Then an off week. So they're 5-2 going into Georgia, exactly what they were a year ago. They lose to Georgia. They lose to Texas. I don't know, Carter. I maybe. I mean, the writing might be on the wall. But that from September 28th on, September 28th on, that's brutal, dude.
That's the hardest 5-week stretch.
Dude, that's the hardest 8 weeks.
Right.
Tennessee, Kentucky, off week. Carter, what are we talking about Tennessee? You said that you're higher on them than most.
Yeah.
Kentucky's got a hellacious defense, a bye week, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State. Dude.
Yeah, I think that is the hardest 5-week stretch I've ever seen in the SEC, though, for like 5 consecutive weeks.
Right.
My number 1 team, my number 3 team, and then the rest are all 3 top 20 teams in a row.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy, Carter? They might be the best 5-7 team in the country, or in the history of football.
I'll tell you this: if they go 8-4, they should get in the playoff. If they go 8-4,
I would see the argument that could be made there.
Like, all right,
it would just depend on who they knocked off.
Okay, would you take 8-4 Florida over 10-2 Missouri?
No. Matt Mizzou's schedule soft as hell, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because look, Missouri can go 10-2, and their best win be A&M. Whereas if Florida goes 8,
Here's the thing with Missouri, though. Name a team that they can't beat.
every team on the schedule they can beat.
Dude, what if they go undefeated going in the SEC championship game?
They had some good luck go their way. And if you are a believer in Blake Baker, you are, I am, there's going to be some regression. You would like to think. So I'm fading. Like, I have hit Missouri win total over 2 years in a row. They have been very profitable. Do I want to do it 3 years in a row? They would have to go 10-2 for me to hit that over.
Oh, hit the over.
So you think they're 10-2?
Yeah.
Georgia win total 9.5.
Georgia win total 10.5. You said?
Yeah.
I want to go over because I got them in my national championship game, but I could see the under. I would stay away from that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any team, before we skedaddle here, that is overrated to you in the SEC? Overvalued.
Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, Texas. But their schedule's light too.
Yeah, especially if you think there's some regression with Michigan, which I think that there is.
I do. How do they replace their 2 interior defensive tackles? Their pass secondary was one better than yours was last year in passing yards allowed.
What's their defense coordinator's name again?
They got 2 of them. They do code DCs.
And they lose Bo Davis.
Well, here's the honest question. About Texas, because you would have the conversation about Texas and Ole Miss. Which team is going to be at 2 is what people are going to ask.
I like Texas this year. I do.
Over Ole Miss?
Yeah, I do. Texas to me is firmly in my top 5 going into next year, even with the defensive issues. I think they have a really good roster. But I guess the team that I would fade just a bit, I'm always been labeled an Alabama hater, and so what? It is Alabama. Alabama just, I don't know. I'm interested to see what this Milroe marriage looks like with DeBoer. So I'm a little bit lower than most on Alabama, and I'm a little bit higher than most on Texas A&M.
Yeah, I like your A&M thing.
I think people,
their D-line's going to be sick.
And I do think Connor Wigman is very, 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 very good. Okay. I really, really, really do think so. And if he stays healthy, better watch out, man.
Right.
The Wigster.
Yeah, I mean, I need to see him stay healthy for a year, but they got some playmakers, man. And I like Elko.
I just think it would not shock me if Wigman is shaking Commissioner Goodell's hand next year. Number 1 overall pick.
Oh, I don't know about that. Now you're going too far.
Dude, I'm just saying, man. Upside, baby.
I'm not going that far with you.
Kid can flat out rip it. And he's fearless. This guy had a horrible concussion his senior year of high school. Horrible. And he's been very hurt. So there's that. But the athleticism, man. Dude can rip. Dude can flat out rip. Well, Blake, we appreciate
The word-
you. Man. I feel like you're getting tired on me.
I know. I was just about to say the word. Well,
Well, if you have to skedaddle, go skedaddle. Man.
What was it? God, dog, you made me think about the game. I mean, the last time we really saw Weigman though was against Miami, and he didn't look good.
No, he was great. I thought he was great in that game.
He threw 2 picks.
Yeah, and his protection was horrible, and that game plan was insane.
You think Colin Klein is better?
Yes, I think he's going to scheme up a lot more gimmies for him. Probably. And I understand not having Evan Stewart is what it is, but what do you think this DJ Pickett tweet is?
The cap.
Yeah,
that's what I was responding to. That's why I was quiet. So, a Florida beat writer said that there has been talks between DJ Pickett and him flipping his commitment to Florida, and he said cap.
I will say this, I'm not the insider guy. I'm not. There might be a really fast guy committing to LSU in the next 48. Now, actually, I didn't run this by you beforehand, but you probably
say his name.
I'm not going to say his name. It's the kid's announcement. I always feel weird about that because if you say it and because everyone will point to you like, no, you ruined that kid's moment. Ruin that kid's moment. But I'm just vaguely asking you if you've heard the same.
Yes. It's on our message board, AYS@network.com. I put a pick in for the kid.
And I'll say this. He has a high school teammate that's also committed to the class.
Yes.
So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just talking about the school that because Texas is playing this school early in the season that he was committed to. So
did you see this from Bullfrog, the guy that drives everybody insane? What does that mean?
That's not the actual Bullfrog, though. I thought you figured this out.
Yeah, it's like Black Dog is the other one. Nobody's talking about Joe Sloan's kickoff game against number 31 ranked Mississippi State. Bro's offense dropped 34 with ease. He clearly knows how to plan up a game one. But he didn't call plays though. He was second fiddle at Louisiana Tech. Skip called plays.
Oh, if Skip's the coaching, yeah, he's definitely calling the plays.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he probably had some say so, but I do remember this game. That was an insane game.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, he was the OC. Now,
he wasn't calling plays. He said he told us in a press conference he wasn't.
Here's a weird thing about this. All right. And I feel like it is important to clarify this. Okay. Not every OC calls the plays. Not every single OC. It's normally the OC or the head coach, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that's always kind of vague is we don't know exactly who is actually calling the plays unless they just outright say it, right? Like, for instance,
you know that Joe Sloan's calling, like Brian Kelly's not calling plays.
Yes, BK's definitely not calling it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does he have input? Yes. Is a lot of what LSU's going to do the Brian Kelly offense per se? Sure. But he's not calling the plays. I hate it. Hate it. If I was an SEC administrator, if my head coach was calling plays, I would hate it. I do not, because there's just too much stuff you got to do. NFL, I'm okay with it, but not at Division I Power 5 college level. I just think there's just too much stuff you got to do. I feel like in the NFL, you're able to just coach football. You have to deal with recruiting and booster schmoozing and all this extra stuff. I just think you're done for unless you are really, really, really special at calling plays.
Yeah.
Like for instance, let's take Ole Miss. All right. Do I think Lane's actually calling the shots there? Yeah. I mean, there's a piece of me that really does think so, but I also think, and once again, this is just speculation by me, but
that he leans in on people.
Yeah. I think Weiss or whoever the guy is now there.
Yeah. Charlie's son. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Weiss does do a good bit of the sequencing.
I agree.
And the reason why I say that is play calling is so freaking hard. It is so hard. And one thing, and you played, Blake, obviously, the biggest difference is a lot of people think, well, play calling is just calling whatever. No, it's, did you rep that play call in practice well? Is it something that you guys do well? Is it a look that you like? I mean, there's so many different factors that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think Billy Napier sucks so bad at Florida.
Because he calls plays.
I think
I mean, his offense sucks too. I mean, calm down, Pistol Matt Canada. I mean, stop with the jet sweeps.
2019.
You know what playbook I'm utilizing very effectively in college football 25?
We should fire up a game. I'm gonna fire it up.
Okay. Is Michigan's.
Really?
Yeah, I like running that rock, man.
I've not played in weeks. If y'all want, we can. Well, I don't know what your day looks like. I'll play in a game tomorrow.
Ben starts school technically tomorrow, so we're going
We'll
to
do
meet
it next week.
teachers and all that. Yeah, we'll have to do it next week.
We'll do it. I've not played a single game online. The last time
I played one, and a kid got Vandy, and Vandy's got a quarterback with a speed of like 95, and the dude like ran all over on me.
So should we do an online game?
Sure.
Yeah, we do it. On the SEC channel, I'll play with Arkansas because they're obviously big supporters. Their playbook's a lot of fun. But then again, I am, dual threat quarterback on that game. Taylor Greens obviously runs really well. And I love throwing to the tight ends on video games.
Me too.
And dude, Arkansas's got
and that's the thing too with like Michigan. They got so many tight end packages. I have like 3 tight ends committed at the current moment.
You know what's interesting about Michigan's tight ends is like people in Cincinnati think Eric All is like really good, and he transferred because he got beat out. He's a good player. All right, well, get some sleep, man. Ben's first day tomorrow.
Yep, meeting the teacher.
Oh, wait, you're meeting the teacher tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kindergarten, bro. I'm getting old.
Kindergarten? I don't even have a child yet. You got a kid in kindergarten. And you're younger than me. And you got 2 children. You got not one, but 2 of them things.
I couldn't hold on no more. I was about to. You ever seen the video of the old man who goes, I'm about to bust?
I'm about to bust. No. This is what's interesting. So you've been on this carnivore diet. And
yeah.
What's interesting is one day I met you and we hung out all day like bros or whatever.
Yeah, my house is getting renovated and everything.
And you made me the finest.
You're never going to live that down, are you?
Finest Louisiana cuisine.
Just Tostino's Pizza?
Tostino's Pizza. You're like, I don't got none, but I do have I went to I had to drive through a back road to get down to your house. I was like,
oh no, you didn't. It's off a major highway.
I was like, oh, going back here, Blake's gonna have like some venison back here chopped up, ready to go.
You came to the house and everything. We were renovating the entire house.
God, goodness gracious! All right, big dog.
See,
AYS. We'll see you on Monday.
Gina Bobina. Why you gotta bring my wife into this?
I've never understood Gina. She's. I still don't know if Gina is a real person.
No, it's not. Why you gotta bring my wife into this, man?
I don't even know. Megan is a wonderful human. Actually, I've never met Megan.
We're going out to dinner and a movie tomorrow night too.
Okay, so
we clearly don't hate each other.
Twisters? Is that what we're seeing tomorrow?
No, she wants to go see some like love movie.
Oh God, dude, love movie.
I know.
Well, what's the meal tomorrow though?
This place called
No, should we give them free promo? Are they that?
No free promo. I've never eaten here before. So
because it could be.
yeah, it's a brand new place, but I am going to get a ribeye. Screw that little filet mignon
Filet,
shit,
man. The filet. Yeah. Olympics hot take. Do you have one just on the top of your head?
Do you remember the part in Rush Hour 3 when Carter has the taxi cab driver and he's about to shoot him and he says, talk about the NBA again. I dare you. I double dare you. Somebody posted this is Serbia right now, and it was him like pointing the gun at the taxi driver saying, sing that Serbia. You remember that scene?
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So funny story before I get out of here. So 2 weekends ago, or maybe last weekend, I can't remember. Ben was sitting on the couch with me, and Rush Hour 1 came on. Now, my son cannot sit down and watch a movie, but Rush Hour 1 was on, and he fell in love with it. He was laughing the whole time. He loved it. Never sat through an entire movie before has been. Rush Hour 2 comes on, and he loves it. Man's a big Rush Hour fan, and then I had to like pause it because remember when the Secret Service agent was getting changed, and Jackie Chan was like, "Oh, baby, slow down." He was like, "Daddy, what is that?" And I completely forgot about the scene. I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. So when I was doing stand up, my buddy was golfing with Chris Tucker, and Chris Tucker FaceTimed me, and I was just blown away. I was like, coolest moment of my life, or coolest, dude. And I hate it when people go back and say, "Oh, the jokes are dated; they wouldn't fly now." Well, no shit.
Well, jokes are just that, man. They're jokes.
They're jokes. Like, do they make you kind of cringe? Maybe, but at the time, like, nothing beats Rush Hour 1.
Nothing.
But yeah, I'm glad Team USA won. Nicole, you
can't lose to Joker.
Can't do it.
I saw somebody also tweet out. He's like, "You can't lose to a whole court worth of white dudes."
Well, I had this because Matthew Bruin's a big like basketball historian guy, and I have Joker ahead of Durant, and I still believe that in all-time hierarchy. But if Joker would have pulled this off today,
it would have been a massive win for him.
It would have been one of the biggest basketball feats ever, ever, if he would have been able to do it.
Yeah, I was watching it, man. I mean, LeBron came down in the lane, drove to the bucket, tied it. Curry with the 3, bang.
All right, big dog.
All right,
See
later, dude.
you, bud. AYS, give him a follow. We'll take a few more. Gina Babina. Gina, I don't know if you're real. I'm serious. I do not know if you're real. You've had 3 different troll photos. But if you're real, thanks. Or no thanks for the lack of the support. Now, here's something else I'll say as far as guests are concerned. It's not a big deal because Blake's obviously one of my really good friends. And yeah, I talk to him probably more than anyone outside of, my family. When we have a guest, we want our guest to feel welcome here on PHL. Okay? A few weeks ago, we had a USC guest on, and he's awesome, Matt Zimick. And a few of y'all were like, why do you have this guy on? I know I'm not a big guest guy, but I like having guests. But the main guest is you. Have you ever noticed that? A big priority of PHL is you. I make you guys the co-host. I answer your questions. You are a big piece of what we're doing. That's why, whenever I go to a game or get stopped or whatever, I take every photo. I try to. But I'll answer this from Doug. 2019 was the last special teams return for a touchdown. Okay. Yeah. Brian Kelly's talked about this. So punt return touchdowns are just so much harder now because there's so much rugby style punting and all of that. Something else, Doug, that works against this, and I know I've made this point over and over and over and over again. Okay. The LSU defense is mostly sucked. All right. So if your defense mostly sucks, you're not going to have a whole lot of punt return touchdowns. You're just not. Okay. You're just not. And wait, do we even have a 2019? Who was a return touchdown for 2019? I don't think Stingley had one. And unless it was a kickoff return. But yeah, that's part of it. And then kickoff guys have gotten so much better at booting it through the back of the end zone. But a lot of it is that if your defense can't stop anyone and the other team has a high, touchdown rate, you're just not going to be able to get a lot of punt return touchdowns. Well, go to bed, man. I trust you. I've been feeling weird too. I'm still getting over whatever I'm getting over. So yesterday, I do want to address this. Yesterday, before I recorded 3 videos yesterday. Right before I went on, my chest got tight. Like seriously, I was like, all right, I'm just going to do like a 5-minute show. Apologize to Deshaun Spears. I've been saying Deshaun Springs over and over. So my apology again to Deshaun and his last name. But yeah, health is wealth. If you guys have to go to bed or you have to, leave the show for a while, I will say there was another PHLer who, informed me that he's going to have open heart surgery. He told me this minutes before we went live tonight. I'll keep his medical situation private, but yeah, it's a downside when you do something like this. There's health. There's a lot of health issues that come along with this. I mean, we've been doing this for. My first video was in 2020 for PHL, so yeah, it's interesting. All right, I'll address this because. Yes, I am an anti-Embiid guy. Big time. I still am. You are correct, Pegasus. I do have to acknowledge that Joel Embiid was really good today. However, it does really matter that you watch the games because Joel Embiid never, ever makes the hustle play. Ever. It's not that he doesn't hustle. It's just he gets timid. He doesn't get the scrappy rebound or the scrappy block shot. I counted 4 different loose ball scenarios where he had a chance to make a play or get a rebound, and he wasn't able to get it. So, yeah, I mean, he's so ridiculously offensively talented, it's going to work out for him on that end of the floor. But he is a maddening, I'm not even going to try and say that word. It's maddening how little he does outside of flopping and scoring and the occasional block or rebound. So Trey Palmer had, I don't think he did. So there you go. I think that'll do it for me is what I'm going to call it. Alex, I appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate all of the love. And I appreciate this today. We did get a new partner officially today for PHL. You'll be learning more about their services. It's actually an industry that I am very heavily involved in. So we have very similar goals with what we want to accomplish. So you'll learn more about it. And if you love to party, this is exactly for you. They're pretty fun. So I'm really excited about that. I really, really, really am. So there you go. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. Our top super chatter of the evening was Nola Grizz. Not only that, he gave me the Jamar Chase jersey. I really appreciate that. And Jared, as always, thank you so much. Tonight. Oh, yes, Trey Palmer versus Northwestern State. Yes, he did have that punt return. Okay. Also 95 versus South Carolina. That's right. Okay. Tonight, what are we doing tonight? Oh, we're doing chicken tenders. Let's go.